get back to the witness stand. Sean Combs' eyes appeared to follow her to the witness stand, but she does not appear to be looking at him at all. And she picked up in her testimony right where she left off, telling the jury about times she's been injured during freak-offs, how they would leave her with infections and sores in her mouth. And yet still she was made to participate in these things. And she talked about how painful it was and how unpleasant. And then she talked about participating under the threat of violence. And how often was Sean Combs physical with you, she was asked. And she kind of shook her head, let out a deep sigh, and said, who knows, as if there were too many times to count. There are fewer members of Combs' family inside listening to all of this. His daughters, notably absent, they had to stand up and walk out at points when the testimony became too graphic.
Asked if the escorts ejaculated, Cassie said yes, usually when it was okay for them per Sean. But if they did, then Sean and I would go into the next room and he'd want me to put the semen on his body, usually on his chest, on his nipples. You got your woman rubbing another man's splack on your chest. Oh. What type of demonic shit is this, bruh?
96-hour freak off? Folks, you're lucky enough if you get 15 good minutes out of me. This brother P. Diddy is on a whole nother level of sadistic. They need to put that nigga in Gate submarine, send him down to the Mariana Trench, and let nature do its best work. Because what the hell?
Yeah.
Casey was saying that he would allow the men to urinate on her to the point where she would start choking. You know how much you would have to urinate on somebody for that to happen? I mean, what world was this man living in? I have 3 sisters, and I could only imagine if any one of them called me and told me that some man was doing that. The way I would morph into Heath Ledger's Joker would be unreal. The lights would go out in the city and explosions would ensue. Because what in the actual...
Want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Hey. Why this beat so cold?
We will make America proud again. And you try to. We will make America wealthy again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
This is bad. It gets even worse, but I'll tell you. Diddy's legal team, and that team, he got Brian Steele. I mean, he got some top dogs, some top lawyers for all this. I ain't lying to you. As bad as this gets, Diddy got some heavy hitters on the other side. But man, what a disgrace, man. How y'all feeling about everything that you're finding out? I know it. Yesterday, I almost threw the up. I almost yacked all on the floor. I had to end the video short, man. I couldn't believe what I knew it was this bad, but I didn't know it was that bad. You mean I didn't know it could get to that kind of levels? I mean, urinating, blood, baby all got all kind of drugs in it. I mean, they take somebody, you take somebody's semen and sperm. They take it into the other room. Diddy says y'all, and it has his woman rub it all on him. Well, we got some more updates. I saved it just for tonight. I promise you. I think I can only do Diddy updates when it gets to nighttime, close to the ending of the day, because it's traumatizing. Oh man. I'm telling you, I didn't know. I know we knew it was this bad, but not this bad. Oh, not this bad. But if you're new here, join the family. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. We're gonna bring up a couple of individuals. We got some more updates from what happened inside the court and everything. So let's go and jump in, man.
Warning, because what Cassie just revealed in court is heavy, not just for you and I, but it was also for the jury as well. I'm going to start this one with a trigger warning because what Cassie just revealed in court is heavy, not just for you and I, but it was also for the jury as well. She says in 2023, this is years after her relationship with Diddy ended. She's married to Alex Fine. She now has 2 kids. She started having flashbacks to all of the trauma and sexual abuse that she says she endured. And she says she can no longer take it. So one day she's at home with her kids and her husband, and she asks him, "Can you do this without me?" She said, quote, "I couldn't take the pain." So she decided that she wanted to walk out of the front door and walk into traffic. And she says the only reason she didn't do it is because her husband stopped her. She broke down as she's telling this story, and Diddy is sitting diagonally across from her, his kids behind him. That incident prompted her to go to rehab. She says she was coming off of Valium because she was taking so much because her anxiety had gotten really bad. It says the rehab was more trauma therapy, and there she started to unpack all the things that she had experienced over the last decade. She put pen to paper and started writing and writing, she says, until she had a book. I'm gonna read some of my notes for you guys so you can hear her words. She said, "I really wanted Sean to read it, to understand. I don't think he understood." She said, "I was begging for sorries and I wanted him to understand the pain he put me through." And she goes on to say that she took too much responsibility for the FREAKOFFS, that she would do absolutely anything for him, but that anything never stopped. At this point, she is fully crying. Her face collapses into her hand. According to her testimony, she sends Diddy the book through his assistant, Christina Coram, but she says they didn't take her seriously. They didn't think she would do something like that. So then she had her attorney reach out to his attorney. She also offered him the chance to buy the book rights for $30 million. Why $30 million? She says she doesn't know. She came up with a number that she felt would alert him, but he said no. She never received any money. And she also says she doesn't know if he even read the book. After that, she filed her bombshell lawsuit in November of 2023, which he settled in less than 24 hours for an undisclosed amount. But today, she revealed that amount. She says she settled for $20 million. That lawsuit sparked this criminal investigation. When prosecutors asked her today, "Why are you testifying in this case?" she said that she can't carry this anymore. The shame, the guilt, the way she was guided to treat people like they were disposable. She said what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong, and she wants to do the right thing. After she was done testifying, I saw a female juror turn to a male juror and mouth, "It's hard to hear," and he nodded in agreement. She then started wiping away tears. There are also a lot of jurors with their hands over their mouths, intently listening. I'm also working on a multi-part series of her testimony. This isn't a part of it. I just wanted to update you as I got out of court. But if you do want to follow, Cassie described Diddy as polarizing. She says at times he would be charming, vibrant, and other times his eyes would go black and he would go into fits of uncontrollable rage. And the person she loved was no longer there. She says something as simple as making the wrong facial expression could get her hit in the face. She says he would constantly say, "Fix your face, watch your mouth." It could also be something completely unrelated, she said, a bad phone call or a business deal gone wrong, and he would take it out on her. She says she then learned how to manage his emotions, when to bring things up and when not to, but it was always in the back of her mind that she could get hit at any time. And when he did, she says that he used to mash her head, stomp her head, bust her lip, bruise her body, and drag her by the hair. She also says that she quickly picked up on his obsessive nature. She called him an incessant caller, meaning that if she didn't pick up the phone, he would keep calling, or have an assistant do the same. And if she never picked up the phone, well then an assistant or himself would show up at her front door. He even gifted her an apartment on the Upper West Side and had a key. In fact, throughout their entire relationship, they never lived together, but he always lived a block or maybe 10 minutes down the road. She also says that he wanted to know down to the minute what she was doing every day and gave her what she now refers to as busy work. Earlier in the relationship, he would give her tasks like writing music, meeting with producers, working on her album. He would fill up her day to make sure that she was being productive. But today, she refers to it as busy work because none of those albums saw the light of day. She thinks it was just a control mechanism so that he could keep track of her. And without new music, her fans moved on and her music career started to die. There were also plenty of modeling opportunities that she was getting approached with that he forced her to turn down. I do want to note an interesting exchange around this time. Basically, prosecutors asked Cassie, "Did Diddy kill your revenue stream because you could have been making money off of these albums that were never being released?" And in other words, she basically said, "Who said I made that much money off of the first one?" Which is very much in line with what past bad boy artists have also said.
Cassie Ventura came right back to the witness stand. Sean Combs' eyes appeared to follow her to the witness stand, but she does not appear to be looking at him at all. And she picked up in her testimony right where she left off, telling the jury about the time she's been injured during freak-offs, how they would leave her with infections and sores in her mouth, and yet still she was made to participate in these things. And she talked about how painful it was and how unpleasant. And then she talked about participating under the threat of violence, and how often was Sean Combs physical with you, she was asked. And she kind of shook her head, let out a deep sigh, and said, who knows, as if there were too many times to count. There are fewer members of Combs' family inside listening to all of this. His daughters, notably absent, they had to stand up and walk out at points when the testimony became too graphic. Cassie.
So I was in the courtroom where this trial is taking place, and I was sitting right behind Cassie Ventura's husband, and I watched him as he sort of glared at Sean Combs at times, at the family, especially during the period of time where the prosecution showed photos of 13 men, different races, predominantly black men. These are all men that Cassie was able to identify in terms of names sometimes and where these freak-offs, these alleged freak-offs took place, from cities like LA, Miami, New York, Las Vegas, etc. I can only imagine how painful it must be to sit there and listen to that testimony regarding your wife and the number of people that she says she had sex with because of these freak-offs. Something else worth noting is that Ventura continues to say this was all about what Sean Combs wanted. So today she mentioned that she said she primarily reached out to the escorts, but says that was her job and Combs expected her to do so. We'll, of course, have more with the testimony that's still happening right now.
The Diddy trial has continued this afternoon, and day 3 of the Diddy trial has continued this afternoon, and here's your afternoon update. It is nothing short of haunting like it was before, so here is what unfolded next. The court passed out individual monitors for each juror, shielding the public from graphic images and sensitive video from alleged freak-off and the sex acts that happened. Cassie was also able to see these. The courtroom went silent as she identified herself in the footage. She said, "That's me," adding she had baby oil applied to her body during the filmed encounter. One female juror nodded. A male juror took notes. Next, they went into an act of violence that happened around early 2007 or 2008. She caught Diddy flirting in a restaurant, and in the car ride home, he snapped. She said, and I quote, "He hit me on the side of the head. I fell into the floor of the Escalade. He shook me. I was shocked and scared. I didn't know why he was so angry," she added. "I knew his capabilities, his access to guns, his threats he made." And then that went on a little further. They then went on to discuss a situation where she was abused and beaten after she left a party at Prince's house. She said she went to the basement expecting to hear music. Then she saw Diddy and ran because she recognized his face. She said, and I quote, "I knew he was angry. Later in the hotel, he beat me up. He threw luggage at me and I had bruises and knots in my head." After that, Cassie fled to Connecticut to be with her mother. She said, "I raised my shirt. She took pictures of the bruises of my lower back, my butt, and the wounds on my thighs. But even then, she hid the full story." She said, "I told her it was the first time because I really couldn't explain the freak-offs to my mom." Then they go in to talk about her relationship with Kid Cudi because Diddy threatened the both of them. She said Diddy threatened to hurt them both. At one point, she said Diddy told her while she was out of the country, Scott's car would be blown up. And so she broke it off, and Scott's car was blown up. So then the jury was shown photos up close and personal of her black eye, her bruised eyebrow. They asked who gave her the black eye. It's noted that she did not flinch. She said clear as day, Sean. She also said that he made her hide her injuries from his children. She said, "He told me to make sure his sons couldn't see me like that with the bruises on my face." Apparently, the power, isolation, and fear was full-blown. And today, Cassie is laying it all bare. Court is going to be adjourned soon for the day, so I may do an update later. I may update.
In pop culture, folks, I'm a sinner, not a saint. I'm not a self-righteous Bible thumper. I've seen it all, done it all, heard it all. I could not stand to read the testimony that was coming out of the Diddy trial. It is so disgusting and gross. I mean, what the hell's Diddy thinking? I mean, from his girlfriend urinating in the mouth of somebody to just all the goofy stuff. I mean, just sick debauchery. Debauchery is not enough for it. It's just awful. In pop culture, folks, I'm a sinner, not a
Today is Wednesday, May 14th, and this is the Diddy trial recap after the lunch break. So Cassie is back on the stand and she is testifying to an incident that happened where Sean had beat her up in the car. She says, he hit me on the side of my head. I fell to the floor of the Escalade. He shook me up and scared me quite a bit. So I got out of the car. I was shocked. I didn't understand what had happened and why he was so angry. I knew his capabilities and his access to guns and threats that he made. She also recalls another incident in which he beat her, saying he got angry with her after she was at a party at Prince's house. Cassie went to the basement believing the late artist was going to play music. I caught a glimpse of Sean, so I ran out as fast as I could because I thought he was angry. I knew he was angry, his facial expression as he came after me. Later, at a Los Angeles hotel room where she was staying, Sean beat me up and threw luggage at me. I had bruising on my face and knots-offs. I felt like I couldn't justify it to anyone, and especially my mom. Cassie testified how in 2011 she had called off her relationship with Kid Cudi after Sean had threatened the both of them. She says, I had broken off the relationship with Cudi after too much uncertainty if we continued to see each other, adding that there were threats of danger. Sean said he was going to hurt the both of us. At one point, she said Sean told her that when he was out of the country, Cudi's car would get blown up, which most of us know that happened. They then showed a close-up of Cassie's eyebrow and black eye. When asked who gave her the black eye, she responded, Sean. Sean prevented his family from seeing Cassie after she had sustained injuries. He told me to make sure his sons couldn't see me like that, the bruises on my face. Cassie says that in 2018, they were supposed to have a closure conversation and he raped her. She said the two of them went out to dinner at a restaurant in Malibu. She recalled their conversation being nice and playful at the time. She said she was already in a relationship with her now husband, Alex Fine. Sean eventually took her back to her apartment. I went inside. He came in, raped me on the living room floor. I remember crying and saying no. It was fast. His eyes were black. He wasn't himself. It was like somebody taking something from you. She said after that incident, the two were intimate, voluntary.
So she cheated on her husband with Diddy? That's what. Man, this is. Oh, man. This is why I saved this for tonight, y'all. That's why I'm telling you, it's so much. This is tough.
Barely one other time. Cassie wrapped up her testimony telling jurors that she took the witness stand to rid herself of shame and guilt that she has carried. The judge sent jurors home for the day and said they will start back up tomorrow morning at 9:30 and they will begin cross-examination of Cassie. Now, I mentioned earlier in the comments that I am nervous for Cassie for cross-examination. Diddy's defense team, I think, is going to come at her hard and it's going to be tough, but I think she's strong and I'm definitely going to be praying for Cassie during cross-examination. Today is Wednesday.
Oh, yeah. I think we've had enough tonight, y'all. Yeah, that right there, I tell you. Let me know what y'all think of this. We are going to be bringing some updates on this. I told you we were going to be bringing the best updates on this entire Diddy thing. You know, I want to see tons of people in handcuffs, thrown in prison. I'm just being honest. You know, all these celebrities and these Holly weirders, Holly weird, that y'all people love and praise, especially on the left and these Democrats. You know, these Diddy party participants. I want to see people walked out in handcuffs. Yeah, thrown in prison. Disgrace, man. But I love you guys. We'll see how this thing plays out. We're gonna bring another update tomorrow as well, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace and love, family.